Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Depends on where you are. And thank you for joining the Catalyzing Change Week. Today, the third day of the week, and we are here happy to listen to a panel discussion among four amazing speakers in a session called Youth and Universities at Catalyst of Change. Before we move ahead, I will pass it to Dr. Megha to introduce our four speakers. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome to the session. It's a very energetic session today because we are talking about the youth, and youth are full of creativity and energy. So we have today with us Medha Tapiwala. She leads the economic division in the Mumbai University. We have Nutan Kajbaje. She leads creativity and fashion and textile at Amity University. And we have Zanvi Zoshi. She comes from the KES College with a very strong presence in the HR and other youth-led initiatives. Welcome all of you on the panel. So we have one full hour with us and a wonderful topic with us. And as we all know, youth is the change agent now. We all have youth in our respective homes. We are dealing with our children. We are dealing with so many participants in the schools, colleges, and so many other places. But as we say that they are catalyst of change, they are going to bring change in this world, especially when we talk about inclusivity, especially when we talk about compassion, especially we talk about empathy. But does it exist in all of them? So I would like to hear from you, Dr. Medha, to start with first, that how's your experience in the sector about, you have been dealing with the youth for many, many years now as a part of SNDT University, now as a part of Mumbai University. You have dealt with a lot of girls and women who also come from a very vulnerable section. But do you see the spark in their eyes? Do you really think they are the catalyst and they are the change makers now? Let us know. Dr. Mehta, can you hear us?
I think you're on mute, Dr. Mehta.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry for this. So thank you, Dr. Megha, and the other team. As you rightly said, this is a very energetic and enthusiastic the event which I am participating in. Thank you for having me here. And what you said is absolutely right. Since this is, we are talking about youth, and this is a time where youth will have to come forward, and they will have to take the direction in the appropriate manner, and that is why they have to be very smart and they have to be very energetic. Now, what I see at the universities and colleges is because youth have got exposure to so many other things, since they are well informed, and also sometimes they are also having some kind of ambition, some kind of the understanding of where they want to go. They're determined. So I think for that reason, I'm definitely looking forward for all of them being, when I say all of them, not many would get sometimes these opportunities, but those who are getting these opportunities to get into this wave of AI, this wave of technology, this wave of reforms in education, reforms in the finance and other things, because now you all know we have become one village as a globe has come together. So definitely now this is the time for youth to come forward and grab these opportunities and proceed further. I think this will be my beginning remarks, and then maybe in the course of time, we will nail the aspects of how they can do it. Thank you.
That's so nice. I want to come to you, Nutan, since you teach creativity and you see a lot of young girls and boys into fashion. But do you think they are thinking about circularity? Do you think they are thinking about being inclusive in fashion? as far as or they still want to be in the luxury fashion, or they still want to be go to just Milan and do their masters and be in the space which is famous for fashion. But do you, or do you think the youth and the girls and boys whom you relate to on day to basis at Amity are actually looking forward to focus more on the circularity part, more on the climate change part, more on the designing which is more inclusive? What is your thought on that, because you interact with them on daily basis? Nutan?
Good afternoon,
Hello.
and first of all, let me thank everyone for making me part of this conclave. And yes, being a part of student and the last almost 35 plus years, over the period, I've been seeing the changes in the student. And when we talk about inclusivity, when we talk about circularity, when we talk about recycle, upcycling, so in Amity and various other universities where I have worked before, they do have a special topic for it when we talk about textile product development, and we do have to have recycle and post upcycling as a topic. Now, how do they incorporate that into their regular life, their into academics, and their into their creativity? How do they explore that is one thing. So there are about, I should say, 80% of the students who want to do all these things, because when we talk about thrifting, like recycle, upcycling, recycling mein, when it's being a fashion student, they definitely want to get into a creativity of wearing and recycling their clothes. So that's one very basic, right from the beginning. They would come to college, recycle their denims, So that creative aspect is there, and they are interested in doing, provided the college or the universities, the academicians incorporate the academic syllabus in such a way that they have to, it is part of their lifestyle. And it is, they've been, they can, it's not, I won't say compulsory, but they would like to get involved in it and explore more opportunities into this fashion, or include this inclusivity, circular economy, circular and fashion, more of the fashion recycle, upcycling projects. And yes, and as a part, Amity University itself, they have their own subject there, where they have, it is compulsory for them to do something using nature base or a reproduction. So that's something is very nice. And youth now being, they're getting very exposed to the various channels of social media, and they see so many things happening on the social media. So they get involved in this kind of activities. So as I said, I'm along with Amity, I'm involved in other projects where post-consumer textile waste, recycling, upcycling, natural dye. So they are involved and they do experiment a lot there. So I'm very happy to say that yes, there is a potential in the next generation, and they will be able to incorporate their creativity into some kind of a work there. Thanks.
Wonderful.
I hope,
Thank you. There was
yeah.
a very important point you said. You said that the universities and the colleges also have to create that enabling environment, that ecosystem where the students get an opportunity to be more inclusive, more social aligned, and all that. I think that is a very valid point we have taken here. Coming to Janvi, to you, and you are in a university which is bustling with young students, college, arts, commerce, science, and it's a very nice space to be with. You interact with student on daily basis, and I'm sure all are looking forward to graduate and go back to the community, go back to the society with the application orientation. So what is your take on that? How do you see, if we range between mark between 1 to 10, where do you see your students moving towards? 10 is like climate oriented, entrepreneur, socially oriented, and 1 is like more job oriented and stereotype. Where do you see between 1 to 10 your students mostly approaching?
A very good afternoon to everyone present here, to all the intellectuals present here. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this discussion. I think, Meenakshi, what you asked is something that I'm living. It's been 1 decade of teaching in higher education institution, and I feel that after the changes that have been brought by the new education policy, we have seen a shift from just colleges just focusing on marks, or colleges just focusing on academic your assessment, to an overall development of a student. So now I think my students earlier, when the only criteria of graduating used to be, your academic performance, your CGPA, your grades. From there, we have shifted a lot towards community engagement projects, towards extension outreach activities. In fact, when we talk about the UG colleges, so when the NAC comes to grading the college, and how holistic development the college is doing, they are rated more on these aspects of student development rather than just being the academic achievements that the students have. So I think I would rate it towards 6. Yes, there's a lot to be done, and definitely, as Medhaji said, towards the further part of the discussion, we'll talk more about what more can be done by colleges. But I see a very promising future. When we talk about colleges as a catalyst of change, for sure. So 100% 6
Nice,
out of
thank you.
10.
Great. So, as we know, we all have children at home, and they almost quarrel with us in a proper tone, we would say, and they challenge all the old norms, like right from challenging the arranged marriage in India to doing a lot of rituals. They would like to know why we should why we should do the kojagri, why we should worship the moon, why we should do that, why do we do this. So, when you are teaching, Medhaji, when you are teaching, and does the youth in your college challenge you on the course, challenge you on the topics, and they demand more and more? Do they really are energetic about it, or they just want to get a degree and just move out to the job market? Where do you find them? Do they really have the spark in their eyes? Do they really ask you the relevant questions that like how the climate change is going to affect when talking about the economics and all the things? Do you really find them curious about the nature, about the earth, about the rituals and all that?
So, Meghaji, it is like you're making me relive my experiences in the college, in the class where, because now almost more than 3 decades when I'm teaching, I actually see the difference. Earlier I remember the students used to take what you used to give. Maybe because that time the exposure was less. And now, I mean, in the recent years, especially after pandemic, in fact, we were also a little less interested in knowing more of the technology before pandemic. But after pandemic, the teachers also are into it. So as a result of which, what has happened is the information is on their fingertips. So now they are so open and now they are so flexible. In fact, I teach 2 subjects which are right now in Mumbai University. I take a subject like climate change, and my other subject is gender economics. Now, both the subjects are more of behavioral patterns. So they belong to behavioral economics. So what happens is whenever I tell something, it is very difficult for me to say that the students will accept as I'm telling it to them. In fact, every class becomes more of interaction than that of one-way lecturing. And that's what I like the
Yes.
most, especially because now what is happening is, I will not put this word as a challenging, but I would put this word as they are more interested in knowing the depth of the subject. uh, Especially when we teach post-graduation. At post-graduation, what happens is these students have got their ideas. And those ideas they want to now implement. For example, when I said, if I'm talking about gender economics, they want to know why these schemes are coming up. For example, Mulgi Shikli Pragati Zali, Beti Bachao, Beti Badhao. There are so many such schemes. So they wanted to know that why only Beti. So, see, even if they're aware of the data, they want to know where and what has happened so that the changes in the schemes have happened. Because in India, these types of schemes were not same 10, 20 years back. Now we are making the changes in it. Same thing is happening even in terms of climate change or environment. There is the theme like, the mangroves, sacred mangroves. So if we wanted to tell them something about that sacred mangrove, since I'm from economics, we talk about cost and benefit of that. But while teaching them cost and benefit, we also have to tell them what is the Indian knowledge behind it. Because how in India we have protected those sacred forest, sacred mangroves, So it is definitely that now the students are changing. And as I said, it may be because of, to some extent, because of technology, maybe because of the freedom which they are getting, maybe because the kind of avenues they are into. So as a result of which, today the young generation is more inquisitive. They are more interested in knowing more about whatever they are trying to get. Empirical understanding makes them more logical. And I think that is the thing which we want in our students to be, to be successful in their future life. So the spark which
Interesting.
I'm seeing in my students, I'm sure that tomorrow, I mean, of course, these students will go out and they will also be in the position where they'll be able to form the policies, they'll be able to help the government. So I think I'm
True,
very
true.
positive about it.
You named about two very interesting topics, climate change and gender economics, as a part of your core area. So when you teach these very, very important topics to the youth, to the change makers, do you have any practical courses for them, or it is very theoretical, or it is like it's a combination of theory and practice, so that when they go out back in the community, in the global spaces, they are aware with practical and theory both? Like, do you, as a part of your college and course, do you inculcate those things into them?
Course. Of course. See, my department is called as Mumbai School of Economics and Public Policy. So it's a postgraduate degree what we give. Now, in the postgraduate degree, what we have done is we have given credits to different courses. So the course which is
Okay.
offered to them is like climate finance. It's a 3 months course where 4 credits are given to them. So in case if somebody is interested in, proceeding further in that particular area, they have the niche area to decide on. Maybe it is disaster management, maybe as I said, it's about finance, maybe about policy makings in climate change. Now these courses are developed and they're available. Even in my earlier university where I was working at SNDT University, even at undergraduate level, so many such courses were developed, and those courses are offered in a center called Chetana. So what we do is, in case if, because now under national education policy, we are also permitted to take the course from any other university and use the credits in our course, where accumulation of the credit is possible. And with this accumulation of credit, it is easier for the students to opt for something which probably in their regular course is not there. For example, if I am teaching
Yes.
something like climate change and then somebody is interested in knowing data slicing for climate change, the person will have to go and look for that particular software or that particular course, which is also again available even at our department. So what we do is we also have courses like Python, courses like R. These courses are also given along with the courses in this niche areas of climate. Now, in case of gender, also
So,
what we have certain courses like gender budgeting, gender policy making, especially because our department is a policy making department. It is Mumbai School of Economics and Public Policy. So we evaluate policy. So similar courses are offered there. And these courses are offered not only at the department level, but also, I mean, what I mean is they're also available online. So blended mode, or sometimes purely offline, and sometimes even online courses are available. So the lot of choices are there for
wonderful.
this.
Yeah, I'm happy to know that the universities and the colleges are also making the due changes in the delivery as far as the course is concerned, as far as the delivery systems is concerned. And that's really, I think, putting the youth into the focus from the learning perspective. Coming back to you, Nutanji, so you are in a very glamorous space, fashion and creativity. But I would like to know, you are doing some good projects in the space of upskilling and recycling. So, any of your students, do they take interest? Do they ask that we would like to uh, join, or maybe as an intern, as a pro bono support, or only for the sake of learning, we would like to participate in any of your projects? So, would you like to introduce the project as well as tell us if any of your few students have always become curious about it and are joining and have shown interest in becoming a change maker rather than just a fashion designer?
Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting question, and the answer is very positive. Yes, my students are interested. As I said, not all students have capacity and capabilities to do, but yes, about 70 to 80% students, because when we work in the campus also on particular projects, we uh, fashion is being a course itself, they have lots of expenses. Now, students have to shell out money for the course as well as for raw material. So we always suggest them to use and recycle and upcycle material from their old wardrobes or their parents' wardrobes. So that's one immediate step they take, and that's where they start taking interest. Yes, this is something which, and when they come to know the importance of the waste going into the landfill and how it is dangerous for the environment, they all take interest into it. And yes, the projects which I'm working with PISR and NMMC and SBI Foundation on post-consumer textile waste, we use all used clothes. So definitely every student is been asked to do something from their own old clothes. And talking about they taking interest into this as a career, uh, definitely, as I said, not many, but there are few students who are really serious about it. And while teaching, when we explain them the benefits of this program, a benefit of this environmental studies and how to utilize this, or maybe the career options into it, which they are not aware of it. Basically, when I'm working for last few years, I'm working on this projects, and when I understand the career options, they all know the glamorous career options in the industry. They don't know the career options in this industry. And in case of fashion and this thing. So there are so many brands working on it, and there's so many, like we also face lots of issues in getting right kind of a candidate to do a designing for a recycle, upcycle product. But uh, it's a big industry. It's a big industry, and worldwide it has an importance. And student has a very big, what do you say, career opportunities in this line. Right from big brands and corporates, they have taken quite a lot of interest into this subject. So one explain to them the career opportunities in this. They are all willing to do it. So they would like to know the
Yeah,
career
that's great.
options.
In fact, yeah. In
As I said,
entire Europe, you find a lot of brands, Zara and H&M and all are shifting towards circular economy and everything. So
yeah,
that's really catching up, and I am sure a lot of students will take be passionate about it. Coming
yeah.
to you, Janvi, do you recall one or two students or one or two examples where you have really felt that this guy or this girl has that spark in it, and they have done something which you would like to share with us, especially from the entrepreneur perspective, being a change maker perspective, being a climate change perspective? How do you really remember one or two such incidents which you can share about a student with us?
There are many examples. I mean, I feel being a professor is one of the most beautiful jobs in the entire world. Why? Because first you have the access to the youth, right? So they're the ones who are
Yeah.
going to be the future of the country. And when you see them, you find that today's, as Medha ji mentioned, that today's youth has a lot of potential, and they are having courage of speaking up. They are having these ideas that they want, to discuss with their professors, to get those ideas, converted into reality. I will state few examples where our students took initiatives, and they got beautiful results. Like, for example, in our college, we have a system of extension outreach activities where students are, first, our college, I'm blessed to be a part of an institution that gives opportunities to students to take their own initiatives. Like, we professors just work as facilitators. We allow students to give their ideas, share their ideas, and tell us what they want to do for the community, which activity they want to lead. So there were a few very beautiful activities the students came up with. One I would share with you. There were a few bunch of students who were doing environmental management course with us, and they came up with an idea that we want to establish a vertical garden at the backyard of our college. So they took those waste tires. They got those tires, and then they just got a small materials. They used that, and the entire wall they made a very beautiful vertical garden. That batch is already passed. That batch is already graduate. But when they come back to college and they see those, that vertical garden flourishing every day, they feel so content. They feel so satisfied. And that's so motivating for the other batches also. Similarly, a few of our students, they took an initiative that whatever they learn in finance and marketing, because I teach a management course, so whatever they learn in finance and marketing, they'll be teaching it to the local vendors, which is very on the nearby shop which are there in our area. So the people who are, a little obsolete with the technology, the old vendors, generation, working with them. So students went and they taught them how can they, have the presence online, how can they have a bookkeeping with the help of technology. So, and those people actually accepted it and they're still doing it. So there were few these kind of initiatives when students want to use their talent to create a difference in the society, their energy. I think at times inspire us also. So there are many such examples, and every day, we are meeting the students and trying to discuss with them what next they can do for the company. And
Very
Megha ji,
nice,
yes,
very nice.
one more example that I would like to share with
Yeah.
everyone. We have an MOU with TISA. So under that, our students, because we have one of the most, BMS is considered as one of the most happening courses. So the students are very smart and obviously they are inclined towards fashion. So our students got an opportunity to do a fashion walk wearing the, clothes made by the local artisans. The feeling of doing a ramp walk, I think, Meena ji, we have got an opportunity twice with your consent and with your support. The students were so happy doing it for the local artisans and the kind of knowledge that they got, that how these clothes are made by these artisans, how much hard work goes in, that even elevated the respect that they already had for the artisans. So I think there are many such examples and I'm enjoying it every day.
Lovely. I mean, it's so heartening to listen that they are following the passion and compassion together. Both the words are so important. You
Very true.
when you are a youth, certainly you have to earn livelihood. You have to satisfy your family, your parents, their expectation. But then there is a bigger community. You are a part of a bigger society where all are not children of the lesser, like some other children of the lesser God, as we say, and some do not have that opportunity. And if you give back to the society, I think it gives you more happiness. So that's really interesting. And taking ahead, we will of course keep some 10-15 minutes for the question and answers or just mutual discussion. I would like to ask Medha that from SNDT to Mumbai University now. I think in SNDT you had a different type of students, more girls, more coming from a lower income groups, or maybe a bit of vulnerable society, being a government university and especially only for the girls. And now you are in a mixed department. So between girls and a mixed department, or rather, I would say between girls and boys, where do you find the difference? Do you find girls more compassionate and passionate about their about what they want to do in the society or give back to the society, or do you think boys are more entrepreneur and they want to do more for the society, or they are more career oriented? So between girls and boys, just to see, because we have seen both of them, how do you find them, the difference in
Yeah,
attitude, the
great.
difference in passion?
That's a very interesting question, and that's a very the answer also probably would be very what do you say close to my heart. It is because being a woman, I always wanted to know how, because I was always in the co-ed educational system. And when I was in SNDT for 3 years as in a different designation as a dean, and that is the reason I used to see all the departments. Now, when you say the girls are compassionate, what I have understood is especially girls are they're more serious. They're more, what you say,
Okay.
they really want to, learn more things, because maybe by birth they are made like that. See, because what I have observed is in when there is a co-ed, almost every batch of ours, I have found the girl was topper. Never ever I have seen any boy being a topper, even in the subject like economics. Now, in SNDT, since all the girls were there, I was wondering that how this competition would go. And what I have seen is it was like 1-2, it was like, I hope you understand this word. this is the system which is happening in most of African countries, where they believe in cooperation. More than competition, they believe in cooperation. Now, I will not say all of them will cooperate, but majority of the girls will have that kind of feeling to help each other and come forward, the teamwork. I mean, I have seen, especially in SNDT, there is company, sector 8 company called WISE, which is meant for innovation, and it's an incubation company where the startups are nurtured. So I have seen that
Oh,
those girls
interesting.
which come forward and they have their ideas discussed amongst themselves, and each girl would help others. This is what to some extent is not, maybe by nature it is not there in boys, because boys wanted to have their, as you rightly said, that this is the time where they also look forward for having some kind of their livelihood, and they wanted to prove themselves. Now, maybe on girls, to prove themselves is not mandatory. So maybe to some extent they're okay, but still showing that ambition where they are able to handle both. They are balancing what they are doing at home and also what they are supposed to do to meet their ambition. Now, this is the basic difference I find between this co-ed and only girls education. What I understand is, irrespective of the gender difference, today's youth is more enthusiastic in achieving their dreams, and that is why I find that in case if they are handled in appropriate hands, I think tomorrow's dividend which India is going to get would be really great. So the courses which are offered in SNDT were dominating earlier by home science, but now it is not so. In SNDT, we have many courses which are more have industry connects. It also has, of course, community connect is always there, but it also has industry connects. For example, the textile department, which we have seen, I think they are also working with TISR. So you having some idea of how they are working.
Yes.
Excellent work is done by one of SNDT's college, where a rare of skills from Aurangabad, where those artisans are coming here and teaching the girls, and girls are so enthusiastic in doing it. Old paitani with the new kind of fusion outfits have been developed by them. I was really happy to see these kind of things happening, because that shows that our old skills are not going away, but the new skills are getting, they're getting involved in what they are actually looking forward for as a fusion for the future. Now, that's what I have seen in SNDT University, more where some very new type of skill courses are developed. So I think the girls are rocking now.
That's so heartening to listen, especially when our Indian cricket women team have bagged
Yes,
the World Cup. I mean, it's so interesting to see all the reels and these young girls and how their
very true.
parents focus them to take a sport which is not very, very popular. And some girls have said that we only wanted to see ourselves on the TV, and we never thought that we'll be all over in India on all the TVs. So it's very interesting. So coming back to you, Nutan, do you see? Can you give me one example of any of your one or two students who have taken compassion very, very strongly during their courses or post the courses, because you've been part of your earlier colleges also where you were leading the creative departments. So do you see any of your student up there doing something which is different, who does not want to go to Milan, who does not want to be a fashion student, but want to do something which is really different and has done it? So can you just
Yes,
recall any of your students who have been a change
yeah.
maker out
I
there?
have one particular student, Akshaya Venkat. I think she worked with
Uh-huh.
us in our project in TISR also. And she was very passionate about doing this. So she did her master's into the same subject of post-consumer textile waste and making weaving and making lots of different product line from it. And now she set up her own brand. I don't recall her brand name, but she set up her own brand in doing into this. Many of our students are indirectly are working on thrift stores, which is a very interesting thing. Like, they are procuring garments from maybe from what do you say, from their own closets or their friends' closets, and they're reselling it at a very this thing. So the that's one thing I have, and they do it very often when we have a bespoke kind of a bespoke, BESPOQ, startup run this thing, event in a campus where students do this projects and they sell in the campus there. So making it from production, designing, product producing, and selling is many students they like to do it. There are students who make jewelry out of waste material. There are students who make handbags out of denims. There are students who create lots of garments out of denim waste and they sell it to their friends or they wear it themselves. They do make the whole collections out of it for the fashion show. As I said, it is very difficult for them to spend lots of money. But then when they sell their own things, it is very easy for them to make money simultaneously. So that's, yes. And as I said, Akshaya is one of my students who is working on the project of this kind of thing. And she teaches also. Yeah.
Lovely. I mean, this nowadays students are becoming very, what do you say, multitasking. While they study, they want to intern. While they are interning, they want to start a startup. While they are starting a startup, they want to do something, earn some money also. So it's unlike how we were as a youth and as a student. So coming to this particular question, Janvi, when you are dealing with so many young students, do you think they are into entrepreneur journeys? Have anybody started the entrepreneur journey while they are learning, or they are just looking for becoming job seekers? Like, what is the percentage between being an entrepreneur and a job seeker? How do you see your students out there?
So I come to college where maximum students are coming from a business background. So they have that entrepreneurial
Okay,
spirit in them, in their DNA itself.
in their
So
DNA.
yeah, so and then many of them, in fact, in the first year when they come for the first day to college and we take their introduction, many of them already have their startups. Many of them are,
Oh, lovely.
they already tell ma'am, we do have our own website, we do have our own startup, we do have our own apparel, you can say venture. So these kind of things students are already doing. And I think, when I see myself as a professor, my students are much ahead of what we are. They already know the intricacies of businesses. They know how to invest. Many of them are already studying in stock marketing. They say, ma'am, we are very clear we want to take finance because we're already investing in stock markets and we have a presence in equity. So this way, I think students have their ventures. Definitely college helps in providing them a platform because they are, what they're doing is just because of their energy, and the spark that they have in them. But they definitely need some grooming. So colleges, with the help of a lot of associations, like we have CII, which is a Center for Innovation, Incubation, and Entrepreneurship. So this center helps to groom the students, help them in understanding how, the entire business process happens, providing them any kind of mentorship required, providing any kind of funding if their ideas, having great potential. So I think the students already have a lot of ideas. They want to establish themselves and they want to do everything very quick. They don't want to wait for the graduation or post graduation to happen and then start a business. They want to do that right away when they're studying. So I think definitely there's a shift. Earlier when we had a mentality, whatever is going to happen is going to happen after a post graduation. Students don't think like that. They don't want their education to, complete for starting a business or doing something new. So I think now India is seeing a wave of change with a lot of entrepreneurial mindset coming in students. Because I think only in a business you can multiply money. Otherwise, in a service, you can only add up money every month. So that's what the students know.
True. That's really interesting. Now that we have 15 minutes on the line, and these discussions are going to telecast it on the YouTube also, so a lot many people will view it if they don't ask us questions right now. So maybe all three of you, I want starting with Medha, that if she has to give uh, two lines of advice maybe with humor, maybe with just inspiration or inspire the youth, what would she like to tell them as a just an advice as a person with a bit of gray hair now? I don't know whether
Yeah,
hair are gray, but I think it must be.
no, actually, after being in this profession for such a long time, what I understand is I just want to tell my students that be what you are. And
Yeah.
whenever, see, bringing the humor will make it little, I mean, little difficult for me to
Dilute.
express exactly.
Okay.
It will get, I mean, the core will get diluted. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
what I understand is whatever advice we are going to give, I am sure they will do what they want. So,
I know that's so true with the Gen Zs.
and because they are in this world where information, as I said, is on their fingertip. See, information is not a problem at all. Only thing is they should get appropriate direction towards their goal.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that they can achieve only with the help of baby steps. There can't be any shortcuts for any kind of,
True, true,
without efforts, without mehnat, nothing is going to happen. So I think
true, true,
that's
true.
what is my, say, few words for them.
Truly agree. As we all know, there is no planet B. So we are
Yeah,
all on this planet, and this is the only planet we have to live,
absolutely.
survive, and around. And then so much of AI is coming. So now the other word is coming, responsible AI. So like
Yes.
everything new comes, there is always pros and cons about it, and we have to see how best the younger generation can take it. So coming back to Nutan, you are sitting on a industry which is like the most polluting to the climate. So many fast fashion, so many clothes coming up and down, and like yes, there are a few students who may be interesting in thrift and all this, but I think the younger generation is like throwing clothes so fast, and I see in my house only. Yeah, I mean, they are like fast movers, everybody, and especially with the machine wash. India has been a place where hand washing was done always by the maids and so that, and then the clothes used to continue for many years. Now, with especially with the machine wash, we see the clothes are dying their own death. I mean, one cloth goes into a washing machine, not more than 10 to 15 times it goes, and then it's like so loose, and you can't even use it. So now when you are sitting on this fashion industry, which is polluting this country and this planet and everywhere because of the clothes and all, what inspiration would you give to your students and youth today, especially coming from the fashion industry?
Yeah, fashion industry is the most polluting industry for the environment. I understand. Yes, buying less, we can say that we can tell them don't buy much. But then what will happen to the producers and production houses?
I
How are we going
know
to
there's a
make so it's a contradictory statement. It will happen. Like I'm saying, don't buy. So definitely, the designer said, we have learned so much to make something. How do you expect us to say not to do anything? So that's a contradictory. But there has to be a balanced thing. So students and the young generation, they need to understand how well balanced production they have to do, or designing they have to do, where they're not harming the design, or maybe not overproduce things just for the sake of business. So
true.
that's something we definitely, in our lectures, we always tell them all these things. So they have to incorporate these learnings into their future life is one thing. And I always say they're very blessed to have this AI and all these different softwares where previously we, in our generations or maybe two generations before, we did not have. Especially when AI has come, I've seen students designing everything on AI. Okay, AI, if they ask, they'll get a design ready. There's no creative aspect many a time by the student. So when you're talking about outcome of that AI design, they don't know how to do that. So they need to come back to a practical aspect of it. Like I would say, if they learn something to a recipe on AI, will that recipe actually be made unless you make it? No. So how
True,
will you
true.
eat? recipe shown on AI, but to eat that recipe, you have to make. So they need to learn the hand skills. They need to learn the skills also along with that. AI and the what is it? The technology is going to be evolving every day. But unless you do it with the hand skill, it's not going to be. And when they come to know the hand skill, they'll understand the hard way it goes through. And that's where I think they'll start controlling their expenses and controlling their out controlling their design productions also. I think that answers your question.
Interesting. Meda said that there are no shortcuts. You said that hard work is important. And I also feel, especially when our days, only a calculator usage, and our parents used to say that you have to learn your maths, not to use the calculator. And now when we teach, when I was teaching in the Atlas University, I used to find like you give them any question in 15 minutes, they'll be ready with their PPTs and everything, and all through Chat GPT, all through AI. So coming back to Janvi, to you, especially when we are closing this session with technology as a talk. So I think how are you seeing your children actually using their own knowledge and actually using technology as a tool? See, I understand technology can be an enabler, but you cannot depend everything on technology. Like when I used to give a student that come up with a unique idea for social entrepreneurship, they used to just Google it out and Chat GPT and then come up with a full ready presentation with the commas and full stop and pictures and everything. I mean, I said, where's your brain? I asked you to focus on a social entrepreneurship idea which you are passionate about, not which Chat GPT is passionate about. So how do you see this? Being
So, ma'am,
becoming a slave to the technology, or using technology as your slave?
I think it depends from person to person. So students have to understand, see, every kind of a facility that you get, every kind of a, this kind of technological help you get, it depends on you how you utilize that. So there are students who are definitely not using their brain and they're replacing them with the content that ChatGPT is giving. On the other hand, there are others who are just using ChatGPT to an extent where it doesn't hamper their creativity. So I think here we need to sensitize the student that yes, technology is there at your hand, but do not bust your brains and do not just completely depend that one day when there's no internet connection happening, you feel that I cannot think anymore. And I keep as I always said, we are just facilitators. Knowledge is already available, and students are no more interested
True.
in just learning theories. So I think this is what we keep sharing as a professor in class: that do not rust your brain. Give the Google a little side and try to use your brain to understand. I think we led a very beautiful childhood, or a phase where we did not have. It used to be, our own work. Definitely, students are getting impacted by ChatGPT. It's an ironical situation, but yes, at times there are students who are just making PPTs in a fraction of a second. They're submitting their project in one day. It's not a big task for them because they just have to give a prompt and everything is ready. But when it comes to presentation, it's them. The PPT can be made by ChatGPT, but you have to personally stand and present that content
Yeah,
in
you have
front
to
of your
own
professor.
the
And if
content.
you do not, yeah, and I think as a professor, we can quickly make out the difference in confidence for students.
Absolutely.
Someone who has made it on their own, someone who has, the ideas, their own brainchild, the kind of energy that they'll have in presenting that content will be very different. And someone who has just taken content from ChatGPT one night back and has come to present, they will be very lame in presenting. They'll not have any kind of an attachment or a kind of an energy, and that you can make out. So I think students will gradually realize that there's no charm in making things out of technology. When you do it on your own, that's a definitely different story, and there's different beauty in it.
True, true, totally true. I mean, you have to own the content. While the content can come from anywhere, but you have to put your soul into the content. You have to bring the content live, and that's only your brain. I mean, we all know that brain is almost a supercomputer, and I mean, brain is itself a AI for us. I mean, you think of it and it delivers. So what more? Brain is itself an AI. It's a natural intelligence,
And I
not
think
AI, but
here is
it is
where
an,
the theme
for
comes
us,
into
it's a
picture.
ready intelligence. Ready intelligence
And I
available.
think here is where
I
the theme
always
comes
think,
into picture: colleges as a catalyst of change. So I think here colleges have to, higher education institutions have to tell the students where and when to use technology to what extent. So that guidance is where our presence is required. Rest everything is available online. So I think that's where our presence is needed as a college or as a professor.
So to add
true,
what
true.
she's saying,
Such,
now even in humanities, we believe in digital humanities. We say that it's
True.
even if you have something in your hands, you have to build tower on it. So humanities come
Yeah.
above that. So your brain will definitely be used there. I mean, without that, nothing can happen.
And Megati,
True,
one
true.
more thing which I think can never come from AI is your character and ethics. So when it comes to giving back to society, when it comes to being ethical, there you have to, you cannot use AI. AI has no relevance or presence there. It's just a small tool that's available to have a very ready, quick knowledge. But when it comes to giving back to society, when it comes to going to orphanages, talking to the kids, when it is, doing a fashion walk, wearing clothes of artisans, I think there no AI is required. It's all
Okay.
you do.
In fact, I have seen a wonderful quote in a lift rather, which says that human and AI, if they work together, they can make this climate and this world a beautiful place rather than working alone individually. So, like,
Absolutely.
it's a companion for us now, and it is certainly going to improve the things the way we do. But yes, human can never be replaced. Our minds and everything. It was such a wonderful discussion with all of you, and we are almost there. Just 5 minutes down the line. If you want to speak anything on the topic, it's open. Otherwise, we can just keep discussing. And any questions from the attenders, participants, and it is a nice discussion. And I think the topic is very. But one thing I always wonder, and maybe you can help me on that. There were so many proverbs which we would always use it, like one stitch at a time saves nine, and a friend in need is a friend indeed, and all these. When you interact with youth, I never see them using proverbs. I don't know. The proverbs exist in all languages, in English, in Hindi, in Marathi, and all are similar. I mean, a similar proverb you find in English and similar proverbs and
Yes.
you call it muhavras, and they were very popular. It's like a gist of entire knowledge in that one sentence of like a friend indeed in need is a friend indeed. I mean, it's just a gist of it. Do you see any of such proverbs around you in the youth which they use it? I always felt that the youth do they use proverbs or not? We have been grown with these proverbs throughout their life, all three of you. Anybody think that there are proverbs around which the youth is using?
So if I want to say, I mean, in my classrooms, we always believe that there is no free lunch. And this is what in
True.
economics we have learned. And I
Yes,
think
there's no free lunch.
that's, yeah, so that is why, I mean, that underlines the importance of hard work because
I
nothing will
know.
come freely. So what I
True,
understand
true.
is, I think, as you said, the proverbs we have not heard from the students maybe because they're not so much into literature, they're not so much into, maybe that is the reason, but it comes to
Yeah,
the
maybe.
subject, they I think might be like we have been using these kind of words in the classrooms also. So that is what just clicked me because I always say that and they also respond on the same to me because whenever we have any program, everybody comes and participate enthusiastically, either physically or financially, they come forward. So nothing comes free.
So we in the chat we have this, of course. So they have a similar proverb in the local language Swahili, which says a friend in need. So somehow I feel cross boundaries across the globe for centuries there are proverbs and they are like so similar. So Nutan, do you remember any proverb which you think is apt for your students, your sector? I think a stitch in a time saves nine is actually for the fashion industry.
I don't have any proverb, but what recently I just saw somewhere that this Gen Z have their own language, if I'm not
Is
mistaken. They
it?
have their
Yeah.
own words and their own vocabulary, and they convey
Yeah.
things through that, which I think me, especially me at little senior and older, this thing is unable to don't understand. And we actually ask them, "What did you say?" Then they would say, "Oh, ma'am, we meant this for this." The words are different, but the meanings may be the same. So
I
that's
know.
something what I
Just
feel.
on chat, somebody's written in Tanzania. Also, we use proverb in our fashion design. It's called khanga. So the language is different, but I think we all, the entire human beings, are connected with some, what do you say, intuition, where we all know that it exists. There is no free lunch, a friend is required, a 3M friend is required, and everything everything is so connected. When we, in Hindi, we call limbu, which is lemon, but in Russia and Ukraine also they call it limbu. We call pineapple as ananas in India, and in Bosnia and other locations they also call it ananas. So it's so similar. All languages have come from the same
Yeah.
thought process and everything. Yes, Janvi, you want to say something?
So I was
So it's been so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you talk about proverb, I think Meghaji, there's so many things that I miss now when I see the students nowadays. Like there are when we used to grow up, we were taught the stories of Panchatantra, right? Which are
Yeah.
a beautiful set of stories. Each story giving a lesson which is which has got universal moral lessons. But you cannot find them
Yes.
anymore in in the students now. I think there's one reason to it.
True.
We are at I mean, all four of us will relate because we are teaching in higher education institutions. We get a crowd which is already concrete in nature. I mean, they're already 18 plus, so they already have a nature set. I think schools have a much bigger role to play in teaching proverbs, in teaching all these things, in teaching character, because it becomes a little difficult for us to change this youth with the kind of mindset that they've
True. True.
already come for these 18 years. So we are studying at a juncture when we are expected to create an impact, but the students are already concrete and the pot is ready. Now that the pot will either break, but you can't design or rechange the shape of the pot. So I think that moral, lessons or the moral well-being, the kind of teachings that have to be imbibed, the kind of ethical character that has to be built, has to be done more at the ground level, which is at schools when the child is they're very naive, too much dependent on their teachers to learn things. So I think they have a bigger role to play so that we get people with more proverbs.
So, we are just on time. It's 3:29. And it was so wonderful to have you, Nutan, Medha, and Janvi. And we really look forward to interact with you. And you are the change makers. You are delivering your knowledge, your experience through the community, to the youth, through the change makers of the country and the nation. And we are so proud of you. I mean, you are at the right place with the right knowledge and right passion to make this world a beautiful place. Salute to you and so thankful to you being here. Also, thank you to Catalyst Now, Komi and Conti, and supporting us for the session. And it was such a wonderful session. I really enjoyed talking to all of you, and we just wanted to make it very informal, very interactive, and very nice. And thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It was
And
such a
have a
pleasure
nice day.
to
Have a
be a
nice
part
day.
of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It
Thank
was a great experience interacting with all of you. Thank you so
And
much,
thanks,
Meghaji, for
Dr.
being
Megha and team and Catalyst here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Panel discussion. So today is the third day of our Catalytic Change Week. Cindy will drop in the chat. We have more great session coming up, especially on Friday. Another session on circular economy moderated by Dr. Megha. And I pass to Meru because we also have a very important session on this. So over to you, Meru.
Thank you so much, ladies, for this excellent session. And I think you would really enjoy our session on Friday, which is our report launch on key competencies in social innovation education, where we draw insights from 16 global academics and discuss well-being and systems thinking related competencies when teaching social innovation education. And it highlights the key pedagogies that educators use, what are the challenges that they face, and it has a great call for reform for improving this area and having great structural reforms in our education system, especially for educators and the youth. So do sign up for this session and we will share the registration link in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
so much.
Bye-bye. Take care. Namaste.